Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chisom, and in today's video I'm going to be cooking and basically taking you guys through how I make my jollof pasta and how I make my plantain as well. So this is just my own method. Mind you, there are going to be a lot of fails which I included in this video, like the stew burning at some point. But basically I'm just taking you through the process. This isn't an actual tutorial, it's just a come cook with me kind of video. So again, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to share the video if you haven't already, and let's start. So first I'm going to start off with putting oil on the pot, making sure it gets hot, and then I'm going to put chopped onions into it and then leave it till it fries to a certain level. So now that the onions are fried to how I want it, I'm going to stir it a bit. So now I'm going to put tomato paste into the mixture and then fry it. And then this is the brand I use. I just buy the small tin just because it's good enough for one big pot. So next I'm going to be stirring the tomato paste into the oil. To me, I do this just because I don't want it to burn. And I'm going to be stirring it occasionally as well. And also, this is just how I do mine. Regardless of the process, it still turns out the way I want it to. It may not be perfect, but this is just how I do my own. And then I'm going to leave the stew to just keep frying while occasionally turning it, just to avoid it burning. And now this is how the stew is looking now that it's all fried. So next I'm going to be pouring in this sardine with tomato paste, tomato sauce mixture. And I do this because like just to add more quantity. Also, I like sardine in my jollof pasta or jollof rice. So now I'm going to be stirring it, making sure everything is mixed together. Because the sardine are a bit big, I use the spoon to basically cut them in the pots, just so everything is evenly distributed. So whenever I see that the stew is starting to burn and becomes too thick, I just add some water. I know some people may do otherwise, but this is how I do mine. I add some water and then keep stirring. So now I'm going to cover the pot for maybe 5 minutes so it cooks properly. So this is the brand of pasta that I like using. I'm going to be filling the pot with water, so just so it covers the pasta. Now moving on to the plantain, I'm going to show you guys how I cut my plantain. First I cut the ends, the 2 ends of the plantain, and then I look for the flattest part of the plantain and then make like an incision down the plantain. This is just how I learned how to cut the plantain. It makes it easier to open it up. And then I'll be taking off any residue peels that are on the plantain, like any black parts that are on the plantain. So I like to cut the plantain from the side and then cut it at an angle. Next I'll be using the Himalayan pink salt, and basically in this process I don't know how much to tell you to put in. I just know how much to put in, and if the plantain ever becomes salty you could always put some water. I always like to put a drop of water and then shake it the way I'm shaking it now. But because I didn't have to do that, I'm going to shake it regardless. This helps to distribute the salt evenly. So now I'm going to be putting a frying pan filled with oil, and I'm going to be heating it up. I don't have a deep fryer, but which I really need to get one, but this is how most people do it in Nigeria. So now that the tomato stew is ready to be seasoned, I'm going to be starting it off with the Himalayan pink salt, and again I just know how much to put in. So now I'll be using the Maggi cube. It comes in 2, so basically there are 2 cubes in 1 pack. And one thing I've noticed with Maggi cube, because how I got it was from my mom. She brought it from Nigeria, and I've noticed that whenever we bring Maggi from Nigeria, I don't know, maybe it's the pressure in the airplane, but it's always very difficult to grind, because normally it should be easy to grind with your hands. So because I couldn't grind it at a point, I had to like throw the whole cube into the pot. And then I'll be adding some more water. I'll be adding very little water if I see that it starts to burn or get too thick. Next I'll be adding the garlic, pepper and herbs to the mixture. So now I'll be adding crayfish to the stew, and crayfish is basically a popular seasoning in Nigeria. So because I didn't have because of the lighting and I didn't have like a clear shot of the crayfish, so I decided to insert a picture. So this is how it looks, and it comes in different ways. So this is just the ground version. I like working with the grounded crayfish. Now I'll be adding black pepper to the stew. So now that our oil is hot, I'm going to be adding the plantain to it, and I like to add as many as I can fit to the pot. And how I add the plantain, basically make sure each plantain has their own space. Make sure that no plantain is on top of anyone, just so they all fry evenly. And the whole goal is to fry the plantain till it's golden brown. So as you fry it, make sure you turn it occasionally so it doesn't burn. And this is the color we're aiming for. Well, this isn't exactly the color we're aiming for because it's a bit burnt, but it's still good like this. So make sure you turn everyone just to make sure that they fry evenly. So when you feel like it's completely fried, you just quickly take it out just so it doesn't burn. And then if you find it difficult to use a spatula, you could just use a fork like I did. So now that the pasta is done, I'm going to be straining out the water, and this is the method I use. I found that it's much more safer to just put the straining basket on top of the pasta or whatever mixture you're trying to strain. It's just easier that way. Next, I'm going to be putting the strained pasta into the mixture of tomato paste, tomato stew, and I'm going to be turning it, making sure that each part is completely covered with the stew. I always like to start with a small portion and then add more if I need to. So now I'll cover up the pot and put the stove on low heat, and after 10 minutes this is how everything came out to be. And this is also how the plantain turned out. So I like putting it on a paper towel just to soak up all the oil. So if you enjoyed my video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.